Let's do it live.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BETSPERTS.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Happy Monday, Andy. Hopefully the envelopes were all fat for you this Monday. Everybody dropping off winning tickets after just a smasher of a finale at the French Open. How was your weekend?
Good. I thought it was good. Yeah, I didn't have any Garrick Higo to win, but it was fun. apparently it's been like 3 years since somebody came back from down 6 strokes in the final round to win. So
I didn't think he was going to do it. That was cool.
No, it was more of a melt from somebody else, but no, that was fun. I mentioned this morning on Brown Bag. I'd forgotten that the NBA chat had quickly talked me into the Nuggets under yesterday. Oh. So speaking of like looking at an account and being like, why is that like, and he's like, all right, or graded wagers looking like, oh shit, under 230.5. And then you have an LOL when you realize like one team didn't even hit 100.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Very easy bet there. Hopefully the Sixers get it done tonight. I have some Sixers futures. We have the over. We need pace to pick up. So maybe Sixers by 2 in overtime. I don't care how the spread turns out, honestly. Let's just hope it gets there. Otherwise, yeah, French Open was great. Golf was great. I didn't watch as much Euros as I'd hoped to because I had
kind of the same.
I had boys' weekend. Like the wife and daughter went out of town to go get their hair did and see the in-laws, and me and my son went to the pool, cruised for chicks, played some golf. We didn't even play golf. We just went to I'm like, do you want to just go to the driving range and hit buckets because no one will be there? Yes, that's the best kind of golf. Like, did I have a bad shot? Oh, I guess I'll just grab another ball.
We got to redo. Did you see how good that one was? I couldn't even see it. I'm sure it went 300 yards.
They're very sure they're flight limited too. Because otherwise, either that or that flag really wasn't 250. Because I feel like I can crush it a little harder than that. Even got in some iron work. Although I will say, just like every single man who's ever grabbed a driving range spot, my 6-year-old just wants to hit the driver. Like, yeah, buddy, you got to grab the 9 and take a few swings there too. Otherwise, yeah. Like I said this morning too, I'm like, I think I might watch more Euros during the week at work on like a side monitor while I'm doing stuff than I did during the weekend. So you do need a lot of balls to play. Like I do go through a lot of balls. I try to play at courses that don't have a lot of places you can lose a ball because
water, a lot of trees.
Yeah, my buddy I used to golf with when I was younger, Dan, used to say it after like 60 seconds, he'd be like, well, I wasn't married to that ball. He just didn't want to. And then he'd just roll one out into the fairway and be like, all right, let's just keep it rolling. You don't want to be the slow player.
No, you don't want to be the slow player. Excuse me. That's funny though. Well, yeah, good job by you. Making the most of your boys' weekend. Any major takeaways of the French Open? We saw a women's field that was absolutely decimated by injury. I know everyone whose name you would know on the women's tour was out of form except Iga Swiatek, and she managed to get popped in the quarterfinals to Maria Sakkari, which was a shocker. I did the math, and it was a 1 in 56 million implied probability that those were going to be your final 4 women, which is a big number. That is kind of insane. And ultimately, doubles sensation Barbara Krejcikova comes away with the singles title and the doubles title after playing a lot of tennis. Well, she won the previous week.
I was going to say she hasn't lost a single or doubles match in quite a while. She won the was it Strasbourg? I believe, yeah, the Strasbourg tournament, because Noops had her there. I think we had some outright on that. And
I remember he was talking her up. Yeah. I was she played well. I've never heard of her before that tournament. And if I didn't hear Noobs talking about her, I would not have known her name.
There was some weirdness too, in just as far as how that, like, I've talked to a couple of people about this. Brett, who we had on the show the other week too. He said that too. There's like there has been some women that have just come out of not come out of nowhere, but like their form has come out of nowhere. And there's some of the top players. Like again, like Alex is betting against who's our favorite cute Spanish girl, Muguruza. There's some big names that are out of form, and there are some lower names that are actually playing pretty well. And Patrick here, why didn't we throw Higo in that parlay of the quarterfinals there?
The good one. Yeah, $1 pays 900 million probably, right?
900 million to 1. Yeah, good luck getting Bovada to pay that one out. So,
or maybe 9 billion to 1. What was Higo? Higo was like it'd be 100 to 1.
No, he was like 60. It was such
60?
a shitty.
Okay, so that would have been
field that
would have been that would have been a big number in the billions.
Multiply that by 56 million by times 61.
You're probably gonna lose that account. Hopefully you didn't bet that with a local. Hopefully
your local is he's ducking town. He's just stopped answering your texts for sure. But you would get a tweet.
We both wanted to share
we
that
both
one.
tried to click on that one. Golf. Obviously, it was fun watching Higo come back. It was a shitty tournament, though. I mean, it was a one-off. They're not going to have it again. A lot better this week. Like
as long as we're talking golf, what do you expect this week? Have you done your homework yet? Or you prepped for your show tomorrow?
A little bit. It's like it's a tournament. It's a course stop. Like they play this course every year, but you play the north and south courses on I believe it's Thursday and Friday. You get one round on each course. And then the weekend is the same course.
South,
now,
right?
So the entire tournament is going to be played on one course because it's a major and they're fucking around doing silly stuff like that. So a little bit of research. It's long. There's not a lot of water. The rough is pretty nasty. I think you can get inaccurate and not worry too much about it, as long as you don't end up in the really, really deep stuff. And also, you just need some club head speed. You need some muscles. You can hit out a rough. People aren't, this isn't Sam Snead. Like these guys are in the weight room. Like they have strict workout regimens and stuff. Like they can whack it out of this tall stuff. So
Kellen brings up a key question. Yeah, was John Rahm in quarantine just doing freaking curls for 10 days with nothing else to do, no ability to practice his game otherwise, just getting ripped for this tournament? And I guess 10 to 1 is an awful short price for an outright, but Rahm the guy.
He looked really good. I'm a little worried about this whole, are they still testing him? What's going on with all that? I'm sure he's fine. He had no symptoms. I probably will stay away from him at that short price. I'm going to have him in a shitload of DFS though. I mean, he's going to be sprinkled in through there. So a lot of people betting Phil. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. Dan makes a good joke. If you have not been vaccinated, do not get Rahm exposure this weekend. But
stay away from him. I don't know what to make of this. I've only dipped my toes in this afternoon. I spent a lot of time on NFL stuff, but I'll get deeper into it tomorrow. It's a very, very good field. It's very exciting to have, especially after last week, when you see Bo Van Pelt near the top of the field. And, he's had some injury. I feel like I shouldn't make fun of him. He fought through some injuries. BVP. But again, when you see him at the top, it's like, oh man, this is a bad field. This is a bad field. So very excited for that. Yeah, I'll get into that more this week on Brown Bag, and obviously tomorrow I'll have a bunch of bets on.
Do you think it's a chalky winner? Or I guess if I gave you a 50-50 proposition, first time major winner, yes, no, 50-50. So your yeses are the Rahms, the Schauffeleys, the Finaus of the world.
Don't say Finau. And then on the other side, you're getting
Hovland,
DJ Brooks. You're getting DJ Brooks, DeChambeau. You're getting Rory.
Morikawa.
Jordy. You're getting Morikawa. Probably give me the repeater.
You're going repeater for 50-50, huh?
50-50, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably that's a bad bet. Like you should take, just because you're essentially getting 90% of the field if you take the no or the new winner.
The noob, yeah.
Man, yeah. Honestly, the math probably works out that you should not do what I just did and take the new winner because there are so many good players. And honestly, you know, like you said, Hovland, Morikawa, some of these young guys too.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have Ryan back in the. You can do the repeater.
What's the repeater?
It's from.
I know from Super Troopers,
from Super
obviously.
Troopers.
Obviously. Okay. Back.
License
We didn't
and
really
registration, chicken fucker. We had like 6 DVDs my freshman year of college. That was the one that was like in the player. We'll have to explain to some of these younger people what DVDs are.
You bet him who could say meow the most? I'll call the guy a chicken fucker. Okay. Put a bow on the French Open.
Yeah, really good performance by Mr.
Novak Djokovic, world number 1.
Yeah, world number
Calendar
1.
Slam. Calendar Slam
was,
now firmly in sights. Calendar Slam in an Olympic year. He could potentially do something pretty historic. He could do the 5-for-5 here. What is your what was your general takeaway of the semifinal? Did you watch much of it? Joker versus Nadal.
I couldn't watch it. I was in the garden.
Okay.
I was working on the garden. Strawberries.
It was long. You had to commit some serious time to it because those rallies were lengthy. I
was watching a little bit on my phone. Yeah. So I watched some. I was
gotta listen. You know what you gotta do? Tune into Radio Roland Garros. They are so funny and so like sharp, and you can do other stuff while you're keeping very close track on what's happening. Radio Roland Garros did a great job covering the tournament, by the way.
I feel like I got too stubborn. Up 2 sets, I was like, I should just live bet Joker now because I had not a bunch, but I had a future on Tsitsipas, and I said, man. And I looked at the number and I just like, well, that's not big enough. I mean, obviously it won, but that's hindsight at this point. It's like wow, they're still giving him a lot of respect. I was expecting it to be bigger. Didn't bet it. We all saw that turns out. Amazing performance. Really good job. I mean, by both of us. Tsitsipas to make it that far as a young man, just coming through who he had. His side was easier, but I mean, a big drawn out battle with Zverev. That was fun. A couple of decent matches leading up to that, really pretty easy schedule. But Joker, the way he dispatched Nadal, even 2021 Nadal, that's still a feat. And the way he came back, amazing. Calendar Slam, definitely within his grasp, especially what we saw from what we saw from Roger today. It's like, oh man, Joker should be like even money on grass right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
And then obviously the U.S. Open.
I don't even know who the second choice should be
on grass right now.
Tsitsipas again. Second choice? Who should be the runner? Who is the next highest rated grass player by your numbers? Cilic? Like seriously, like it's a rough go after Joker. Like this is maybe just bet Joker now. And
it's not like I'm excited to ever bet Zverev in best of 5, much less best of 5 on grass.
Yeah. His
some of the
serve
top
can
guys
desert him at times. So it's got to be Tsitsipas number 2. His serve is still, his service is fire.
Tsitsipas number 2, even on grass. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up these numbers right now. I might that might be a fire. And honestly, I might parlay it with U.S. Open.
Why not?
There's some people that can take. There's some people that can take him on hard cards.
We'll get to that later. Want to make Rom 10-1 into a 20-1? Parlay it with a little Joker, even money to win Wimby.
We will, and we'll get into some of that. That's a good segue. We're going to do bonus. We finally just said we had a production meeting and we said the Olympics are right during our football previews when we're going to be sitting down and doing all the previews of all the teams. And I said, well, what the fuck are we going to do? Should we start it earlier? Should we do different timing? What are we going to do? Or should we just do extra episodes for the Olympics? So we said we're going to stay on the same schedule. So twice a week. 2 times a week we'll do we'll do like Cowboys Eagles on Monday, and then Wednesday will be football team Giants. And then at a few times, I don't know how many times, we will be doing extra bonus Olympic streams because we love the Olympics. God, we love the Olympics, and we're excited to bet on it. And we missed it last year. I mean, I didn't win a bet. I went 0-3 in the Euros today. Still had fun. I'm still enjoying international competition, and you know what? I got a lot of it back at Copa America live betting.
Oh,
so what you lose in Europe, you make back in South America, baby. Yeah. So extra bonus Olympic episodes, and definitely we'll get very deep into the tennis, the two tennis tournaments. Okay. Plus, I'm assuming they'll have doubles as well.
final thoughts on the men's French Open, real quick. I got very lucky. Very, very, very lucky. Everything had to go right for a Joker to get by Nadal. Nadal was a little out of form, but not to the degree I expected. And it had to be a night match. It had to be cooling off. He had to make that really drag that out. And he had to swing the momentum in that third set. He did everything. It was like 4-1 was kind of a fair price. Like that's probably, there was not a huge plus EV on that number. I think I just got lucky cashing that bet. Similarly in the final, he needed to get that 6-deuce game in the middle of the third, swung things hugely. Like if he doesn't win that game, that probably goes to a tiebreak, and Tsitsipas could easily have won, the third set tiebreak, and then it's 3-0 Tsitsipas, first ever Slam champion. That would have been cool too, because we had some nice Tsitsipas features, but that's another story. The Euro reactions real quick so far. Italy smash to win Group A. Belgium smash to win Group B. Those you can pretty much write in pen, right?
I have and again, I'm trying to think who it was it was a Slovak today, had 2 goals. Not terribly worried about that. I was worried about
there's your Group D runner-up.
Yeah. Well, I made a futures bet on France to win the title.
Group D.
And Lukaku combined with Lukaku to be top scorer. So the Belgium start was good. France, whatever. I mean, it's the Germany match is important, but it's not like you need to win. Patrick Schick, yes.
Oh yeah.
Not only that,
Czech is your slam dunk for second in Group D. Slovakia now your slam dunk for second in Group E.
Yeah, some interesting results. Like France's. It's funny. Like if you watch Spain's onslaught today, they didn't have much of a higher XG than like Scotland.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. Yeah,
it's funny. The XGs were very similar. Neither team scored. Thanks for nothing, Scotland. That is the worst part about betting soccer is like seeing the XG afterwards and realizing like, oh, my team should have scored a lot more.
My general takeaway is the first games, a lot of it teams are still figuring shit out. Like let's save a lot of this for Wednesday because I think we're gonna do Wednesday afternoon. We'll have seen every team once. Yeah.
Everybody will have played one game and we'll do a full reset. We'll just go team by team. Fuck it. There's not that, and we'll skip over some that are boring, but we'll say like, here's where we were right. Here's where we were wrong. Here's where our guest was right and wrong. Here's how we think it's going to move. But yeah, like the Switzerland, I bet Switzerland to not advance at a pretty fat price.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see them lose. I would have loved to see the Netherlands draw. My God. When Ukraine got back in that one, that was great. But yeah, we'll save this for Wednesday. We'll get into NFL today.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little NFL. Here we are, 2.5 months out, about a month away from really digging in and putting together some priors for these teams, running some numbers and really kind of establishing some serious positions one way or the other. And we sit here. And I've picked through some of the awards markets since the last time we've talked heavy duty NFL handicapping content. You were laughing at Ryan's tweet. Hopefully not.
Also choking on water. I should read the comments while I'm drinking.
Yeah. It's been a while since we talked about NFL. You okay with that, Ryan?
I'm not okay.
All right, we'll give you a quick beat. We have not talked about NFL awards in a while. I've made some bets since then. One that is probably my favorite look on the entire awards market card. Not as slam dunky dunk as Chase Young, Rookie of the Year last year, but it was a very reasonable position that I've taken on this. I've bet it at a bunch of places, and I think it is maybe the only kind of player future getting super excited about, and it was Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Do you want me to make the case for this real quick, or do you have some are you're over the
Oh no, I'm fine. I seriously had some water go down the wrong pipe. So, but no, this was something when you brought it up, I agreed. We both bet it. It's moved a little, but I think a 550 is still very bettable.
Sure.
It was something, and if you listen to some previous episodes, we mentioned this with, was it Owusu that ended up on the Browns? I'm trying to think of, there was a a deal. Yeah, Notre Dame kid. There was a couple of these where we said, like, how is this guy going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year if he's not the best? If he's not the best edge rusher, not the best pass rusher on his own team. Like Chase Young was. He had Montez Sweat, that helps, but being the guy is almost kind of a need when you're going to play in someone else's shadow on a really good defense. That hurts. I think with someone like our guy Myles Garrett, though, it maybe helps to get a little more help to get the if
less chance to be doubled.
Yeah, if this rookie can play well, it's going to help him by all means, getting him some stats. Yeah. It sucks. It's not a full stats award, but like 15 sacks would sure help. That would be awful nice. And not only that, if the media narrative, and I'm sure this is all stuff, fill in whatever I don't hit here, I guess, that you had, but like the media narrative, it's already building. Like the Browns are a trendy team.
Yeah.
They have a good coach now. Mm-hmm. They have a good team. That the team's getting healthy. We're going to have OBJ back. We're going to have Myles Garrett back. We're going to have bringing in some more people. This defense is probably going to be improved. So if it's like, this is a good team with a good defense, we're going to put them in the same kind of tier, the same stratosphere as the Bills. It's like, oh shit, this is a really good team, but they also have a good offense. It's not just defense. I think we're going to start talking about, some of those star players for awards.
Okay.
And it certainly won't be the quarterback.
No. Okay. So let's talk about all the reasons that Myles Garrett is mispriced, even still at 550. I would have played this down to about 400. I've got enough now, so I'm satisfied, but I would have played it down to
the
about
number one reason Aaron
range.
Donald is in the field.
No,
not from us. Like Galaxy. There's fatigue on that.
Oh, there's
We're done.
Stars
giving
and Scrubs team. You triple team the guy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're done giving him the award, but he's still going to be priced where he's priced. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I think he is driving some of this price. Aaron Donald's plus 450. He's taking up, what is that? 18% of the 18% of the market.
Big chunk of the pie.
Yeah, so that helps. I mean, that helps us at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go through the various reasons. You hit a ton of them. The Browns are a team that passes to get the lead and then they run. Okay. So they play from ahead a lot and they are a legitimate good team. This might be the most talented roster top to bottom in the NFL besides the Bucs, I would say. And I would put the defensive upgrades they made last year, I think were all hugely important and positive. He's playing opposite Jadeveon Clowney now. If Clowney can stay on the field, that is a guy that you have to respect from a pass blocking standpoint. And you mentioned it. They made some nice draft choices to shore up the linebacking core, as well as bringing in some really, really solid coverage players. So coverage sacks are now possibly going to be a thing. They were not a thing last year. Myles Garrett had to get all of his statistics the hard way. There were no such things as coverage sacks against the Browns last year. Now they have two legitimate corners. They've got some legitimate slot corner play, potentially from John Johnson. It's just an all-around revamped secondary combined with, what it should be a good defense, right? Add to this, the Browns get to play the Bengals. You think they give up sacks? The answer is yes. They get to play.
They were gonna draft a
Bengals twice.
They didn't.
They get the Pittsburgh Steelers twice. What is the over/under on Myles Garrett sacks on Ben Roethlisberger?
On Mason Rudolph.
6.
Is Mason Rudolph even there anymore? I think.
What is the over/under? What's the price on Myles Garrett ends Big Ben's career season/career? It's not zero.
Plus 350.
It's not zero.
It's not that big of a number.
It's not that big of a number at all. So yeah, he's going to be able to rack up sacks in those 4 matchups. Otherwise, they have a pretty easy schedule. But here's the other beauty, right? The Browns are going to be leading in a lot of games, which means teams are going to be passing to come back on them. You're going to have loads and loads and loads and loads of opportunity. In fact, that's one of the reasons TJ Watt was such a solid look last year, was because the Steelers were playing from ahead a lot. And, they cut the guy loose to go get the sacks as teams are trying to come back. That's like the perfect recipe. Your best player in the NFL, if he stays healthy, this is a absolute slam dunk look. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. This went in. Did you get anything better than 550?
750 was the best number I got.
I found a little bit of like 6 and change. I didn't find a 750. Now I'm a little jelly.
The first place that I saw it go up, I got 750, and then Bet Online and a couple other offshores had 650s.
Yeah, mostly 650 for me. Or yeah, excuse me, 650 was it's 550 now. I'm pulling up pending wagers now.
Yeah.
Uruguay to win the Copa America. Nice. Myles Garrett 650, right in between Philly to win the Eastern Conference and a Coach of the Year candidate.
Oh boy, who you got for Coach of the Year?
The dumb guy from FedEx.
Let's talk about this. I bet this also. It was Art Smith, Coach of the Year for the Atlanta Falcons. And we haven't talked about the Julio Jones trade. What was your temperature on that? Have you heard any coverage that you felt like fairly kind of broke down this trade and, kind of what, and I guess, have we not talked about it? Because I kind of feel like this is sort of a nothing burger. I don't think it really changes either team a ton. Is that disrespectful to Julio? I mean, Julio's 32. He's out there on the aging curve. His team, his value by my numbers has dipped precipitously the last 2 years. Now, granted, a lot of that's because it wasn't available for a lot of last year, but am I too quick to dismiss Julio's value in his age 32 season coming up?
No, I mean, and our guy Clev TA, I actually took one of his tweets and put it on a graphic one morning for Brown Bag.
Oh, really?
He had the best take on this. Like, basically, like there's a lot of other issues in Tennessee. It's like, and here in Tennessee had the 6th best injury luck last year. They finished with the best red zone touchdown percentage. They went 6-1 in true one-score games, 4-0 in 3 points or less. Their defense ranked 28th in EPA allowed, second lowest pressure percentage versus the average NFL offensive schedule. Lost their top 2 cover corners, and added 2 injury risks in Farley and Bud. And I'm reading this verbatim pretty much. Not sure Julio covers all that up. And that is the take. Like, they have bigger issues. If this coverage doesn't improve, the offense isn't going to be as efficient as it's been forever.
Yeah. My problem
adding a 32-year-old wide receiver, as good as he's been through his career, is not how you make up for all these other problems.
Right.
And
plus the
offensive
some luck.
Sucks.
Offensive coordinator sucks. Who knows?
You lose a coordinator to Atlanta right there, and and he brought up the splits too. There was the splits where it was not staggering, but there was a difference. But with Julio, it was like they were facing some easier defenses, so it's kind of hard to look at the splits as well. He did only play 9 games last year, but I think he nailed it on the head.
I had his value pretty low last year, man. I mean, I'm looking at his aging curve, and I'm like, oh, this could be actually it. And like, do you remember your boy Randy Moss's 32-year-old season? Out of curiosity,
was that the Patriots year? I don't remember.
That was the last year he played for the Patriots. His 33-year-old season was the year he played for the Titans and the Vikings, and he was just kind of moved around and then retired or quit. But wide receivers, who rely on speed, and Julio I know has more than just speed in his toolbox, but you get it to age 32, and it's like, I don't really know how much is left in the tank. And on top of that, Calvin Ridley in the games that Julio was on the field last year was the number 1 target in the red zone for Matt Ryan. Like, they had already transitioned their offense to be Calvin Ridley focused, in my opinion. And actually getting Julio out of there gives you the ability this year to evaluate Ridley and determine, do you give him as big a number as they're going to have to give him to be wide receiver 1? Is he worthy of wide receiver 1 money? Right, like, you're going to learn that about Calvin Ridley now with Julio out of the picture. So
you better damn sure hope your tight end you drafted is
very, very good. Right, exactly. And I don't know. I don't think this necessarily. Obviously, would I have rather had an Atlanta position, a bullish Atlanta position with Julio on the field for them? Of course I would. But I don't entirely think this changes their prospects that much. Russell Gage, my value for Russell Gage last year was higher than Julio Jones for the Falcons. I really have a tough time seeing this as being a huge minus for them and a huge plus for the Titans, because I just don't know what you can expect to get from them anymore.
Yeah, I'm not making this a huge minus for Atlanta. I'd just like to spoil the good surprise. We did bet some Art Smith. Again,
Okay.
it was a I don't want to
Price
say
was right.
I don't want to say a rogue number, but they opened some places 25 to 1.
The price was right.
Yeah, that was a little big, all things considered. I spent more time on first coach fired today.
Well,
than
let's
coach
break
of the
down
year.
coach of the year real quick, though, before we move off of it. So coach of the year is a very straightforward handicap. You need to pick a team that is not expected to do well that you think can do well. Like, that's kind of all that it really boils down to. Like, if you pick someone that's kind of out of the playoff picture in the minds of the odds makers and the minds of the media, who can either get a wild card spot or win their division by surprise. And those are the guys you want to target, and price is everything. They're not going to give it to a bunch of these guys who have been around for a long time, or a bunch of these guys who are expected to do well with their teams. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to go 17-0 for Andy Reid to realistically get this Coach of the Year award. And yet here he is kind of in the 18-1 range. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. Similarly, Bruce Arians, 16-1. The guy just won the Super Bowl. He's got Tom Brady. He's got a bunch of assistants everybody appreciates. They're going to have to go undefeated or close in order for him to get consideration, because everybody expects them to be the best team in the NFC this year. So you got to shop around for teams that are not expected to do well. And honestly, I would only look at the NFC, because the AFC is so stacked,
so top heavy,
so stacked.
It's too top heavy.
It's so
and
stacked.
just looking at some previous years, like you either need to have been pretty bad the last year, or a middling team with. Last year there was almost like a built-in narrative, like, and maybe we even said this before the season, like if Stefanski gets a Browns team to the playoffs, like,
he's got to be the guy. He's the guy.
He's so big. It's so big for that team, for that town, for that franchise. It's been a while. God, if they'd have won the division, they might have given him, just like, yeah, you can have next year's too. Fuck it, have it for a couple years. Like, they haven't won a division since the 80s.
Yeah,
the 80s. That's ridiculous. And even the year before Harbaugh, Baltimore won 14 games. Like, it wasn't a complete surprise that they were good. They had made the playoffs the year before as a wild card, but going 14-2 and kind of the emergence of Lamar, that was big. Nagy the year before, the Bears won 12 games. They weren't really expected by many people outside of the people in this room to play that well. So, and this is so funny.
We'll save that until we get the first coach fired.
We'll get the first coach fired. But yeah, no, Drew kind of hits a point here. So I threw out a bunch of names like Stefanski. I don't think should be second favorite. Winning it 2 years in a row is awful tough. The expectations are way higher this year. Brian Flores is maybe something, but I think there's way too much uncertainty.
Too
and
it's
the AFC. It's the AFC East. Staley's number one, which I don't. That's probably a stay away from the number. I hope they can be good.
10-1. That's crazy.
And so Art Smith down to 16-1. I'd probably still play it. I still do like this team. Just because
I like the better at 25-1.
Yeah, I like them a lot better at 25-1. But it does have to be an NFC team, I feel like.
Honestly,
there is a wide openness.
If you look at the schedule, there's some imbalance too in terms of scheduling, right? Like, the NFC South, in my opinion, and the reason Art Smith and the Falcons made some sense is because their schedule is a lot easier than the likes of think of a team that you think could surprise in the NFC East. You could. I don't know. The only other guy, there's one other guy on the board that I was thinking about, and I want your take on this sincerely. This is not a joke. What if Philly wins the NFC East? Is Nick Sirianni going to be in contention if Philly goes 10-7 and wins the East? They're getting a lot of guys back from injury.
Man,
I think NFC East sucks.
I think they need a few more wins.
11-6. They have to go 11-6.
10-7 just doesn't sound that good. Winning the NFC East isn't going to be enough. I don't feel like.
He had Ron Rivera in the conversation last year.
Yeah,
he might have been the second or third vote getter.
I know, but he had cancer too. That's good. And I'm not even joking.
Do we know about Nick Sirianni's cancer status?
People brought that up. It was a great story. I was worried about him. When he got sick at the beginning of the season, that sucks. Oh man, the guy got a fresh start. And now he's got cancer. It's awful. So the angle of like him beating that and then bringing this horseshit team to win a division with just a cavalcade of weird, starters based on their defense and like a couple of good offensive players, and then who they ended up going with in the playoffs. It was a weird squad. I don't want to completely throw out the NFC East, but boy, I would need a really good Eagles team.
Okay.
Man. And then just like, go NFC West, like LaFleur, I guess if you can win the division with Jordan Love, maybe get it.
I really don't know who's going to be able to distinguish themselves in the NFC North. That's a tough call. Okay, all right. Well, I'll consider thinking about it. I'm looking at Sirianni at like 33-1 here, and it's like, that's the lowest price on the board besides Dan Campbell and David Culley. But the Eagles, like, it's not that crazy that they could win the NFC East, and the price you're getting for him for Coach of the Year, if they do win the NFC East, is a lot better than you're going to get for them to win the division.
Yeah, if I'm looking, if I'm down at the bottom and I'm looking at the long shots, Culley, Campbell, Taylor, Fangio, Sirianni, Zimmer, Nagy. And again, I'm going to bring this guy up when we talk first coach fired.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it right now. If they completely bungle the quarterback position in Chicago, it might be a clean house, but we are Justin Fields believers. If he looks good in camp, if he plays right off the bat, if he is a rookie of the year candidate and they are in the contention, possibly winning the division or getting to the playoffs on the back of, oh my God, the Bears finally figured out the quarterback position. Matt Nagy, the offensive guru, is back. Everything's clicking down there and, next to the lake. Like just look at all these guys at the bottom. Gruden, the offense is going to suck. Zimmer, we've got, I guess he got a good running back, a good wide receiver, but it's still Kirk Cousins. Sirianni, I'm not enamored with the quarterback situation. Fangio, it's Drew Lock. Zach Taylor, the team probably just doesn't have the talent. Dan Campbell, Detroit. And then David Culley, we weren't sure who he coached for because we're so out of the loop. We were like, is this an MLB manager? They must be, like, we've forgotten about Houston. I'm sorry, Houston. Yeah. I don't know who David Culley is. If David Culley wins like 12 games, give it to him. Fuck yeah, put a few bucks on him. But down at the bottom of the board, it's tough outside of Nagy to think of like, is there a young quarterback that could – because that's what happened. Nagy has won it 3 years ago. What happened was, Trubisky ended up playing really well that year. They won 12 games. They weren't supposed to. Like, we need to find a team that has a young quarterback or a refurb or something that is going to play well. I'm not betting Nagy. I'm just playing a little devil's avocado down there.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, 33-1 isn't a crazy price. It's their odds to win the NFC, their division, the NFC North, is a lot better than Phillies to win the East for whatever reason. Maybe they're both mispriced, but whatever. Okay, what was your first coach firing kind of thesis as you broke down that market?
We do all of these kind of the same way. You just start crossing people off.
Yeah. And
again, like starting at the bottom, Andy Reid, Bruce Arians, Bill Belichick, Sean McDermott, Kevin Stefanski are not getting fired first. One of them would have to be embroiled in some sort of Pizzagate like scandal where it's like, all right, we have to fire this guy. He's a major criminal. Like, they're not getting fired first. That's not happening. And then you end up with Meyer, Saleh, Sirianni, Staley, Smith. Why are they all S's? Dan Campbell. They're rookies. It's really hard to get shit canned right away. Like, it's not, people have been fired after the first season, but it's hard to be the first guy. I don't see a rookie quarterback or a rookie coach getting fired way off the bat. In that mix is Mike Tomlin. He just has so much equity with the team.
Yeah.
And the front office, if they did part with him, it'd feel like it'd be one of those where it's like, hey, Mike, we're going to fire you after the season. So if you want, you can retire. Like, I think it'll be a kind of a hidden handshake if he goes anywhere. He has so much equity. He has 2 Super Bowls, never had a losing season yet. And what are you going to fire him 50-1? I'd need 500-1. Joe Judge, probably still a little too new. And I think front office likes him. He still has some equity. That number's a little not big. Ron Rivera, he has equity, just based off what he did last season. And then Sean Payton, Sean McVay are kind of in the you do see this. You see people, they can fall back on we switch quarterbacks. And also Sean Payton has some goddamn equity too. He's not first quarterback or coach fired. Pete Carroll, I wrote in my notes, he's a cockroach. He's unfireable somehow. They just, again, he has such a rapport, his relationship with the ownership front office. So, and then Klein says Bountygate didn't even get Peyton fired. What's a 6-11 season's going to get him out of there with a new quarterback after Breeze retires?
Well, Patrick brings up a good point. What about if Dan Campbell assaults a ref or an opposing player or his own player? Can you keep him?
I was going to get back to him. Like if they're ever because there's one more rookie I haven't got to yet. So, all right, moving up, Shanahan and Harbaugh. Again, Shanahan, if he wants to, can absolutely lean on the Hayward rookie quarterback here. What do we? You got to give me more time.
Yeah.
Harbaugh has so much equity as a Super Bowl win. It's a tough division. Frank Reich, same thing, and a new quarterback. Flores is starting to get to the point where you got to start thinking about it, but I think he's probably still too new, and they've had such roster turnover there that it's actually tough to probably get rid of him midseason. LaFleur is very interesting. And this is just complete hypothetical. What if Rodgers just announces to the media, just goes on Instagram Live, and says, "Hey Green Bay, I'll come back."
Get rid of this guy.
Like the meeting in Hoosiers.
Wow.
But the opposite. He says, "If you get rid of him, and I'll come back." It's a reverse Jimmy Chipwood.
Wow.
He says you got to keep coach. So I don't know. Like the Green Bay thing is such a mess, but LaFleur I think is probably respected. I think he turned out to be a decent coach. I think it's silly to have him priced up here with some of these other guys.
I agree.
Vrabel and Rule, I think are going to have decent seasons. I'm not super high on Tennessee. I don't see Tennessee being a super low floor though. I don't see like a 6-win season that gets him gone. I see them. Their floor is probably. I can't say 500 anymore. We don't have 500 teams unless you get a tie. But around his floor is probably
7-8 wins.
Yeah. Packers players come in and put their jerseys, lay the jerseys on the thing. So all right, David Culley. We get to David Culley. I've never seen a rookie this high. He's 16-1. I get the Houston thing it is a mess, but are you really going to sacrifice him? Like, why did you bring him in if you were just going to put him in this horrible situation and then fire him?
And no joke. When I looked at this list, the first thing I thought when I saw David Culley 16-1, who is David Culley?
I had to.
David Culley? Who?
I had to think about it for a second. It came to it. So
without looking it up. Where did he come from?
Oh Christ, I don't know. Like I'll say Temple.
Temple. What?
I just was going to throw college out there. I don't know.
He was the assistant head coach, wide receivers coach, and passing game coordinator for your Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, it's decent hire them.
Over from Baltimore Ravens.
No, but and I will say the rookie being 16-1 feels weird. If anything, because of you ruined the good surprise already. If anything, Dan Campbell should be the rookie coach who's a liability to, like, he might throw something at what do you call the people, like an interviewer, a reporter? Sure.
Yeah,
he might freak out on somebody after a loss and like literally assault someone. I don't know what he's capable. He seems off the deep end. The thing where he had the helmet on, like maybe he's just having fun, but like he said some crazy shit. So who knows what his situation
what about
is.
Another rookie
the
coach?
Low expectation.
What about another rookie coach? What if come week 7, 8, whenever the Jaguars get on their bye, Urban Meyer throws in the clipboard?
We go
walks out on the team, pulls the all that. This isn't for me.
Bobby Petrino style?
I don't like losing. We're 0-7. I don't like this. I don't like this team. I'm out.
Who was it that just quit? Was it Bobby Petrino?
Bobby Petrino, yeah. Petrino.
He
the
just
Michael
was
Vick's
like
dog jail season.
Oh God, we are dating ourselves.
JJ Harrington. Joey Harrington?
Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Bobby Petrino has been through some shit. If you Google Bobby Petrino, one of the first pictures I guarantee you'll see is with him in a neck brace.
Yeah.
So, and poor Dan is an Atlanta fan. And Bobby Petrino really did you guys dirty.
What was it that Singletary got fired for the Niners?
Pulling his pants down?
Pulling his pants down. What if Dan Campbell does the Singletary?
Dan Campbell is capable of God knows what. And then Klein is on fire in the chat here. Remember when the Bills got retired?
Yeah. It was the Vontae Davis, the corner, right?
Retired at halftime.
Best of luck to you guys.
I've done that. I've quit a job where I just punched out for lunch and wrote a note on the time card like, "Hey, I'm done, guys. This job sucks." So, anyway, Urban Meyer, maybe. I don't know if it's enough to take a flyer on him. Sure. I will say, I think Culley is my Mason Dixon line. He is my Mendoza line. He's kind of where I'm drawing the line. Everybody above him
is in the mix.
Is kind of in the mix. So my list would be then basically the top 8 guys. I have pros and cons for most of them. The top 8 from the top are McCarthy and Fangio, Nagy and Gruden, Zimmer and Kingsbury, Zach Taylor, and I guess it was only 7. I'm sorry, guys, I can't count. Those 7. So McCarthy, I'm going to run through real quick. Yeah, McCarthy, if Dallas sucks again and they have high expectations, I guess. But I will say they have not fired a head coach mid-season, and then by they, I mean Jerry Jones, since Bum Phillips. And I brought it up, and now Bum Phillips blocked me on Twitter because I brought that up. By the way, I am blocked, or no, not Bum. Son of Bum. That's that Wade Phillips. That's why his Twitter handle is Son of Bum. That's what I thought about that. Fangio, if they don't fix the quarterback situation, kind of seems like he is co-favorite for a reason.
Yeah.
Nagy, we brought him up for Coach of the Year if the quarterback situation works. I wrote for how he gets fired is they bungle the quarterback situation, which they've done worse. They brought in Big Dick Nick last year. Who knows what they were thinking with that? If they just start Andy Dalton for a bunch of games, the city might just turn on him. Gruden, I think, would have to really, really be bad because we've come to the conclusion that I think they're gonna have to pay him no matter what. It's a lot of money.
10 years. They owe, and I think he's 3 or 4.
3 or 4. I don't think Davis has the cash to be doing that.
He's gonna write him a $60 million check to go away. I don't think so.
Yeah, so he might be safe, even though that team is very much going to be bad. Zimmer, I think, has a good relationship, but I don't know if he's the right kind of coach in this NFL anymore. He's a defensive-minded coach. You can see there's a couple of them up there. Like it's going to be tough if Kirk isn't great and this defense isn't good enough again. You're going to, he's 11-1. He's right there. Kingsbury is very interesting to me. I think if the Kyler experiment continues to give middling results and they don't see, if they're not in the mix at all and the other 3 teams in their division are, that's right there. And then Zach Taylor, I kind of wanted to give Zach Taylor as a pass.
Sure.
But he's 6-25-1 career. Like, you can only get a pass so long.
He just lacks identity, which to us is like reason to move on. But
yeah, and I think if you are kind of doing this, they're in
the same kind of mold. I mean, they're in the same situation as the guy in the desert.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
They don't want to eat that. They don't want to eat whatever his contract is, unless he's a lame duck.
The Bengals management for sure runs it like a business rather than, hey, let's go win the Super Bowl every year. So if it's in their financial interest to just keep him for another year, they probably will just keep them. So it doesn't leave you with a lot. McCarthy, the bye week kind of fits. We did look a little at schedules. McCarthy and the Cowboys start at Tampa, at the Chargers. Not easy. If you go 0-2 and then you lose 2 of the next 3 games are Philly and New York, if you lose 2 divisional games and you're like 1-5, 1-4, I think their bye week was week 7 or 8. Maybe Jerry Jones at his age changes his mind about things. But again, somebody in the chat said this. He won't admit fault, so he probably just keep him because that's just admitting you made a bad hire, I guess. So, I mean, really – maybe it's Fangio, Zimmer, Kingsbury for me. I'm not sure where you're at on this. I don't really love anyone in this market this year. It's a very hard market to grasp because none of these teams have wildly tough schedules. I looked at like first 5 games for all of them. A lot of them play each other. But Nagy does have to go. The Bears go at the Rams, Cincinnati, which should be a win at home, but then at Cleveland, but then you get Detroit and Vegas. So even a bad Bears team could come out of there, 3-2, 4-1. So I don't know. Do you have thoughts on this at all?
It's a hard market, man.
So hard.
I think we are kind of in agreement that it's like what used to be a really tried and true way to handicap this, where you look at the buys and pick a team with an early buy and a coach who's already on the hot seat and just fire away. I don't think you can really do that anymore. And I think we've kind of get why. Like, there's a little bit more patience to see things throughout to the end of the season. There's not really a first mover advantage in getting your coaching search started in October. If there's an in-season firing, it's probably going to be in December, which means it's going to be a bad team or a team that grossly underperformed and has a coach on the hot seat. And I think you named them all. So the only other wrinkle that I would add, and I haven't done the research, so I can't tell you, is do we know if any of these guys are lame ducks? Like any of these guys don't have contracts next year? Because if you already don't have them under contract and you want to get your head start on your coaching search in December, you want to talk to a couple college coaches who's got, that gap in time between the end of the regular season and the bowls or something like that. Like if you want to get a jump on that sort of stuff, then you pull the trigger. The only one we haven't really mentioned that I'm a little intrigued by, any chance that the Panthers chuck Matt Rule to keep Joe Brady in-house if he becomes like a hot prospect and it's clear that Matt Rule isn't the guy at head coach?
I don't know. I think we brought this up last year. It seems a little far-fetched. If they like Matt Rule, they like Matt Rule.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, I guess, if they play really badly, maybe it is incentive where they say, hey, we have a head coach in waiting, sitting here. If we don't like how this season has started, we can just cut him, and we have another guy in-house that we trust to do this.
So we can at least feel the water. Does he have the head coaching merit? Can he turn the team around? Yeah,
because with head coaching experience already, I think that's why Rule is 16-1. Because that makes sense if they're not happy with the results. But at the same time, if you're not happy with the results, it's probably a result of the offense not clicking with
Sam Darnold sucking.
And then you got to blame the offensive coordinator a little too. It looks like a weird move, but like, we're not happy with the offense. We're promoting the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it looks like Carolina's bye is week 12, or week 13, so they'd have to be like 1-11-ish, and everything's gone wrong. But Joe Brady is still somehow calling amazing plays, which not probable. Okay. Yeah, no, this is a tough market realistically. And I guess if I had to put my flag for one player or for one coach, Cliff Kingsbury is my least favorite of these guys.
Yeah, I feel like I want to bet against him because I don't like him.
Yeah.
That's not a reason to bet.
No, they've invested a lot of money in that team. They have a lot of pieces in place that, it's important for the future development of their number 1 overall pick quarterback. Like if the offense continues to regress and if he makes a lot of in-game terrible decisions and there's like a growing, oh my God, this team should be 6-2, but they're 2-6 kind of thing, which over stretches of last season was the case. And he didn't really get criticized for it because he started hot. Like if you flip the script and he starts cold, I could definitely see that becoming an issue for him in terms of the hot seat and him climbing up these rankings because he's not the guy, in my opinion.
He feels like just a dumb purchase. Like everybody's buying this stupid thing, and then you're like, I'm getting one of those too. And then all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck am I going to use this air fryer? I have an oven, I have a stove, I have a microwave. Like, this thing sucks to clean. I don't like it's loud. It sounds like a jet engine. This air fryer sucks. And I just got him because the Rams got an air fryer. Like it just felt, even when he got hired, it felt like a knee-jerk situation. Like, oh, we got to get a good-looking younger coach. And it's like, okay, well, he wasn't that good in college, but
are there any coaches like who traded away like their franchise's best player on offense for a bag of balls like Bill O'Brien did last year that's on the hot seat? I don't think we have any of those guys, right?
no.
Okay.
Bill O'Brien. God, R.I.P. Bill O'Brien.
Wow. All right. Well, that was a fun talking a little NFL there. Again, kind of, I think the biggest value in the market in the current awards prop market is DPOY for Mr. Myles Garrett. I'm not even betting any other players in that market.
No, it's an easy. I think that's an easier market to get a grip on too. Just like
hell yeah.
The stars really are aligned for him to perform well this year. Like if this doesn't win, I think it's because he's injured.
Yeah, that was the Chase Young. That was the Chase Young handicap exactly. like all of the stars are in line. There's literally no angle of attacking this handicap except he could get injured, which, if you've seen him play basketball or seen him doing any of his off-season training routines, maybe one of the better athletes that takes the field on Sundays. Holy crap, that guy is good.
Swings a mean helmet. Did you have comeback player of the year up? I feel like we bet into it.
Oh, you know what?
It's not up anymore.
No, I know it is. It's under COY in the it's under coach of the year. It's under defensive player of the year in the NFL player futures market. The organization here is so bad. Dak Prescott still plus 250, Sack Barkley plus 600, Joe Burrow plus 750, Nick Bosa plus 750, Carson Wentz plus 800, Christian McCaffrey plus 850, Jameis Winston plus 1200, Sam Darnold plus 1200.
Laurent Duvernay Tardif.
Oh, he's only 14-1?
Yeah.
What position does he play and for what team?
It'd be a lot. Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be a lot better. It'd be a lot better if people knew he played. It sucks. He plays for a really good team.
Chiefs, right?
He's on the Chiefs, but like, how? In what world? In what world were Dak Prescott, Sack Barkley, Joe Burrow, Christian McCaffrey are coming back from injuries?
His dad or his brother must have requested him on this list, and they gave him
somebody like DM'd Dave Mason and said, "Bring him on."
Can I get a price on Laurent Duvernay Tardif?
I did that. It cost me some money in the draft. I did that on a few long shots.
Oh, you did?
Not for him. But
you didn't ask for. But you didn't ask for Tyson Campbell in the safety pool. What the hell?
No, God, that would have been nice. I've just full disclosure, small bets for me on Winston and Darnold.
Okay.
I think Dak, if it's a good offense, he puts up stats, might just have it. And he's plus 250 for a reason. But I like a quarterback in here. A quarterback gets noticed. The Saints offense still has a lot of decent pieces. Winston, if he gets his shit in the get and plays well for a good team with a good coaching staff, and they give Tampa Bay a run, he has a good shot at it. And Darnold, just because I'm still married to him, I still believe in him. Those are probably 12-1 is probably bad for Darnold. I still bet it because I do. I like Rule. Oh, excuse me. I like Rule. I like Brady. If they can get that offense working, if he can
DJ
make
Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, that's a nice little set of weapons.
They have good pieces. I am worried that he is doing independent vaccine research instead of studying the playbook. I wish he would just do the playbook. So I am not a doctor. I've done this for 2 years now, but we are not virologists. But I again, like, if you saw what happened to John Rahm, wouldn't you just get the fucking vaccine?
Of course.
Like, oh man, what's a game check? How many game checks could I lose? Go get poked. Like, if I get corona, again, I have the vaccine. I still could get it. There's a small chance, I suppose. But if I got corona, I'm still going to come to this tiny office and do podcasts. I'm not going to lose a dime unless I'm really, really sick. I go to the hospital. Those get, like, if you have to sit out for sickness, do you still get your game check? I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But you probably
hopefully
do.
Yeah, probably do.
But either way, it's not a good sign because the guy behind you is getting starting reps. You could lose your job, and you're playing for your job if you're Sam Darnold because they're potentially evaluating you to give you your fifth year option, right?
Yeah. Somebody asked about OBJ. He's 20-1. A lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah. Interesting price though. I would bet him before I would bet some of these other names in that range. But
yeah,
I don't really.
Tim Tebow's 20-1. If you gave me $100 and said bet one of them, it's going to be Odell. Tyrod Taylor's 25-1. Danielle Hunter 33-1. A defensive end for a middling NFC team is not going to win comeback player of the year over Dak and Sack.
No, very much no. I think you're right. I think it's probably going to be one of these quarterbacks. Whoever between Jameis, Darnold, and Dak doesn't wet the bed.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. We'll get to more NFL. We just hit an hour on the nuts.
Nice.
Should call her a weekend? No.
Yeah.
We're going to come back Wednesday, do Euros.
We got some nice points scored in that second quarter of the Hawks 76ers game.
I didn't want to say anything, but we did.
We did. Somebody was saying Embiid was getting looked at in the locker room treatment. That's not cool.
Par for the course.
Man, dude, I got to say, one thing real quick on the NBA playoffs. The Bucks are they're getting so freaking lucky that the Nets are getting out of their way and Embiid potentially getting out of their way. They've played so poorly in this series. To be 2-2, to be proverbial favorites because you're going up against Durant and a bunch of guys, it just does not feel karmically right.
I still think they lose in that series.
You do? You think the Bucks still lose?
They're not that good. Durant's not a guy to put a team.
Game 1, 2, and 3.
Durant's not a guy to put a team on his back. But if he can get him, if they can sneak this one out in Game 5, and they get, it doesn't sound like Kyrie's ankle is all that great. So
no,
it might just be the Suns. Kellen here, Suns to win it all. Suns in 4. They're good. They look good. They're just playing really good ball right now. Again, if it's a healthy Nets team against the Suns, I'd watch that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm probably going to take whoever comes out of that Clippers Jazz series in the Suns series, though. I kind of like how both teams match up against. Yeah, price dependent, but I like how both teams match up against Phoenix. My number on Jazz over the Suns is big, and I think the market's going to be around minus 160-ish.
Missed opportunity to second half bet on the Sixers game.
Oh, we blew it.
Didn't think of that.
Damn it.
Whatever. We'll get back.
We weren't watching. We didn't know if Embiid was right or wrong.
So it sounds like he's all right. Thanks in the chat there for letting us know. And
we will be missing 13-foot 2-point shots that I sure would love him to make. He's getting a lot of defensive rebounds, which is keeping this total under.
He just missed another shot.
Oh my God. Come on, JoJo.
We need overtime.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I mean, or just like a parade of fouls for 5 minutes as the Hawks try to save their season. That was one of my angles on betting the over.
Yeah, that could help too. And really, the 76ers should have more 3-point shots going down. Maybe that.
Oh my God.
Maybe that regresses here, or a positive regression.
You mean the Hawks 6 for 21? 6 for 21 for the Hawks is the trouble. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, Sixers are 50% right now. Well, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 76ers.
I like it, man. Gallinari not getting involved offensively is annoying. Kevin Huerter forgot how to shoot. Not great, man. All right, well, let's wrap it up. NBA playoffs are tough. These injuries have been bad. It's a freaking mess. It's a mess out there, man. It's a mess. And guess what? They're starting the season in October. So that should go well. All right. We'll talk a little Euro with one of our buddies on Wednesday. Sound fun?
I think so. Let's go.
All right. Talk to you then. Where's the music? I lost the music. There it is.
You don't want to lose. Ryan said sorry about the water. It really, you get water in your lungs.
It's tough, man. It's like I was gonna have to send the defib for you. I was worried.
Oh man, I feel
resuscitate you live on the pod. It would have been very scary.
Oh my God, yeah, we don't need that stuff on air. My goodness, that was the most shook I've ever been watching sports.